everyone, and welcome to Asian Viewpoints. I'm Mary Sitt. You may have grown up watching the popular Nutcracker Ballet every year during the holidays and wondered if one of your kids could become one of those sugar plum fairies, or maybe you've entertained ideas of dancing across the stage yourself. Well, our guest today is David's son. He is a choreographer and he's the director and founder of Sundance X. He's also been teaching ballet for more than 30 years. David, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So, can anybody learn ballet?
Anyone can learn ballet, yes.
But they're not
And
necessarily going
many
to be
people
good
do.
at it.
No, of course not. But I mean, it's an introduction to a lot of things, and most people who start studying seriously are at the age of 7 or 8. I have some seven. In fact, I have two very talented 7-year-old kids, one boy, one girl, um, and they're like sponges. They pick up everything. Part of that age though is one of them is very coordinated because he as his father is a hockey coach at Northeastern, and the other one is a gymnast. So they're both very strong physically and coordinated. That's not always the case.
David, is there a danger of starting your kid too young? Because I remember I put my kids into something they called pre-ballet. They were so cute, little pink tutus, little annual recital. Is that bad or is that okay because they're learning movement and socialization?
Usually it's harmless. It depends on the school, and I would always investigate what the school does, what they produce, and what their history is, and that sort of thing. Um, there are some places that do too much. I mean, for example, I would never put a kid on point before they reach the age of 11 or 12. And that's only after having studied serious ballet 2 or 3 times a week, hour and a half each class, that sort of thing. But no, that early is pre-ballet. That's fine. Serious studies started at around 8.
And they're coordinated enough to learn at 7 or 8 years old. Then is
Well,
what it is.
you have more hand-eye coordination, etc., more self-control. Um, there's a lot of things that are involved in the different age
Mhm.
changes as they learn.
Are your students forced to go by their moms, or do they
No,
really
no,
want to
no,
go as an extra,
no.
extracurricular activity that they choose?
The kids always the most students want to study dance because they love it. Now, if they want, a lot of places require them to take ballet because it expands their knowledge and their skills, uh, which is not necessarily their first choice. In fact, I think that what I've been doing for the last few years is missionary work for ballet. A lot of kids, a lot of places that I teach hate ballet and they don't really
Uh-huh.
understand it, but it really doesn't take long. Within 6 weeks, they love it, and it's really life changing for a lot of people.
What is your teaching philosophy? I mean, you don't look at every kid and go, okay, I'm going to try to make that person a ballerina. What's your goal?
No, I discovered a famous violin teacher named Dorothy DeLay. She taught at Juilliard. She's since passed away, but she taught people like Isak Perlman and Sarah, the very famous violinists. And her philosophy is you teach for the student, you don't teach for the curriculum necessarily.
Mhm.
Each person is different. I think what really, if you want to teach, first of all, I think good teachers are born teachers, just like same thing with choreography. But you have to understand child psychology and parent psychology because that plays into it big time.
Especially, yeah, because they could come in and complain about why didn't my
Yes.
kid get that part, just like in sports, right?
Well, yes, that's an issue, and that becomes an issue often. But
Mhm.
you can't let the parents control what you do just because they want their child. There's some people who are not dancers, but of course they want their children to excel, as all mother bears do. That
Right.
doesn't mean the kid's ready for it. And they have to respect it's the school or the teacher enough to say, okay, they know what they're doing.
How often do you recognize real talent in your studio where you look at someone and you go, wow, she could be professional?
I come across talent quite often, and that's what keeps me in the business because it's very exciting. I have a student right now. I think she's 11. She's originally from Turkey. Fantastic physical facility,
Mhm.
great musical understanding. Actually, she said she studied cello, piano, and guitar.
Wow.
So,
Uh-huh.
but she just, and he's very, very hungry, very eager to learn. And like, there's a few kids like that. And you look at him right away. I mean, this kid's going to be exceptional if she keeps at it.
So how do you recognize it? Do you see
Well,
their
you recognize
drive?
it by looking. You just watch it. You just know as soon as you walk, they walk in the door. They're physically proportioned correct for dance.
Hmm.
Long legs, but it doesn't have to fit the ballet stereotype. It's just
Hmm.
I look at, are they athletic? Are they coordinated? Are they can When I used to do city dance in Boston ballet, we went to the public schools in third grade and looked for kids who were potential uh, dancers,
Hmm.
and we'd give them certain things to do. One thing we had to, which was odd, we had to drop was skipping, because a lot of kids don't know how to skip anymore. Uh, but we would
Wow.
do,
I
yeah,
would
it's
think
very
that's just
weird.
something natural you pick up in kid as a kid.
Yeah, but not everybody. You'd be surprised. Not everybody can skip. Marching, we do marching just to see if they can do 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Mhm.
Things like that. And then we see how flexible they are, what their legs look like. Could they turn their legs out or in? Point their feet. What kind of feet they had, and how strong they were. That sort of thing. Can you stand on one leg? And um, there were some success stories too. There's a kid right now. His name was Wei Chen, and I remember at 9 years old, he was all excited. He was doing his first Nutcracker. His mother lived in Chinatown. He's now a principal dancer at Zurich Ballet in Switzerland.
Oh my
He went
goodness.
to the
He was your
yeah,
student?
he was my student. I found him, and he
Whoa.
was yeah. He went to Houston Ballet, and then he went to National Ballet of Canada, and then he was in Europe, and now he's at Zurich.
What can ballet classes teach besides discipline?
A lot of things. Discipline is the primary thing, but it also teaches you that if you want something and you go for it, it's possible to gain knowledge. I mean, one of the criteria I always say is, don't necessarily look for the best student, look for the weakest student. And if the weakest student is strong, that tells you that they're getting a good education. And that's often the case.
Mhm.
In one studio I taught for, I don't know, forever, those very weak students would go somewhere else and be the best. So it really depends. Is the quality of teaching across the board is even, uh, a lot of things can happen. I mean, you learn discipline, of course. You learn musicality. You learn how to work with others. You learn social skills.
Mhm. Tell me what factor is more important to success, someone's natural talent or someone's drive? I mean, if someone is not, let's say you have two students, one's super talented and the other one is not as talented, but it has a lot of drive. Will that second student become more successful in the end? Because drive is really, really important.
Drive is very important. You have to be tenacious. You have to be willing to suffer defeats. You have to learn from your mistakes. I've seen very talented people, because things came too easily to them, quit because they didn't realize how difficult it was. And I've seen other people who were, as you say, moderately talented, but they never quit and they had a successful career. It really depends. Can you live without the dance?
Mhm.
Is the only way you can find life fulfilling is to dance, then stick with it. When people say, should I dance? I say no, because that means they don't really, they're questioning whether they should do it or not. And I've had kids that I thought were extremely talented, could have a professional career, but they doubted themselves and they always had lacked that confidence, and they were only happy when they finally gave up pursuing it professionally.
I want to get back to what you said earlier. You said you think that good teachers are born. What makes a good teacher? What are the qualities that make a good teacher?
Um, First of all, you have to be patient.
Mhm.
Good senses. You have to be a psychologist. That's across the board. Um, and you have to recognize that you can't be dogmatic about this.
Mhm.
There's some people, I mean, syllabus is a very good thing to know, but you also have to understand you have to teach for what's in front of you.
Mhm.
So I may plan a class and walk in and realize, all right, we need to work on one thing before we get to, you have to learn to walk before you can run now.
Well, thank you so much, David Sun, for being with us. And if you've liked this video, please click the like button below and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you again next time in the next video.